Today we are going to start the new chapter, Ecosystem. This chapter is in the unit Ecology. In this video, we will be discussing about the types of ecosystem and various components of ecosystem. But first, let's define what the ecosystem is. Ecosystem word was first coined by British ecologist Arthur Tansley. Tansley first coined the term ecosystem. Ecosystem is the functional unit of nature where living organisms interact among themselves as well as with the physical surrounding or physical environment. The ecosystem are of different types. Based on nature, we have two types of ecosystems, natural ecosystem and man-made ecosystem. Based on duration, we have two types of ecosystem, temporary and permanent ecosystem. Based on the size, we have micro. Micro means small sized and macro means large size ecosystem. If we see the examples of ecosystem, natural ecosystem, we have terrestrial ecosystem, we have aquatic ecosystem. In terrestrial ecosystem, the examples are grassland, forest, desert. In aquatic ecosystem, we have marine ecosystems such as oceans. We have freshwater ecosystems such as lakes. The ecosystem may be artificial or man-made. That we studied that two types of ecosystems are there on the basis of nature. So artificial ecosystem, aquarium, which is an aquatic ecosystem. Another is crop field, which is an man-made terrestrial ecosystem. Now we have the basis of duration. Ecosystem are temporary or permanent that we studied. Temporary ecosystem is short-lived and man-made or natural. It may be man-made or natural. The examples are rain-fed pond, which is a temporary ecosystem. That means whenever we see a hole and it is raining, a pond is created during the rainy season. So that is temporary ecosystem. Permanent ecosystem is long-lived and it is a self-supported ecosystem. And examples are forest, rivers, etc. On the basis of size, we have two types of ecosystem, small and large. Small ecosystem are also known as microecosystem. It can be temporary or it can be permanent. For example, pond, flower pot, etc. Here we see small scale or micro ecosystem. It is a pond. It is under a rock, small ecosystem. It is hedgerow, a very small ecosystem. And if we see large scale or macro ecosystem, it is always permanent and it is mostly natural. For example, ocean, river, forest, desert. So these are different types of ecosystem, and largest ecosystem is biomes and a major subdivision of earth biosphere which is identified by a shared characteristic plant community adapted to environmental condition of the region. They are known as biomes. So they are various biomes are macro ecosystems or large scale ecosystem. There are certain new species which are discovered in different ecosystems recently. One is This is interesting to know that new species are being discovered in new ecosystems or in ecosystems. One is your Pinocchio, which is long-nosed frog found in Indonesia. This is bald-headed parrot in Amazon, and this is Yeti crab or Kiwa hisuta near Easter Islands. So these are different new species which are discovered in different ecosystem. Now we study the structure of the ecosystems. If we study the structure of ecosystem, we should know what are various components of the ecosystem. The various components of ecosystem are biotic. Biotic components means living components, maybe plants or animals. Abiotic components are the physical surrounding or the physical factors which are present in the ecosystem. If we see the biotic components, they are producers, consumers, and decomposers. So biotic components are classified into producers, consumers, and decomposers. Producers are generally autotrophs, means they can prepare their own food by the process of photosynthesis or chemosynthesis. Examples are green plants generally. Consumers may be primary, secondary, or tertiary. Consumers means which are dependent on the plants. The consumers which are directly dependent on the plants are primary consumers. The consumers which feed on primary consumers are secondary consumers. And tertiary consumers are the animals or the organisms which feed on the secondary consumers. Next biotic component is decomposers. Decomposers, they may be micro-consumers such as bacteria and fungi. These are the biotic components. The abiotic components, they are climatic factors such as light, temperature, rain, humidity, etc. Inorganic substance, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, water, calcium, etc. Organic compounds, carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, nucleic acids, etc. That means abiotic components of ecosystem can be classified into three major categories: climatic factors, inorganic substances, and organic compounds. Now, different species, they are distributed in the ecosystem, and when they are distributed, vertical distribution of different species occupying different levels is known as stratification. Stratification means distribution of species in vertical manner, and each level is called strata. For example, in forest ecosystem we see, we are having, this is emergent layer which includes very tall trees. This is canopy layer. Mostly the trees, they lie on the canopy layers. This is understory below the canopy layers. Then we have herbs, shrubs, grasses that creates the forest floor. So these are the vertical distribution of various species in the ecosystem, and the levels such as emergent layer, canopy layer, understory layer, rainforest floor, these are known as strata. Similarly, we are having different types of zones in the lake or in the aquatic ecosystem. So this was all about the types of ecosystem, various components of ecosystem, and the distribution of various species of the ecosystem. In the next video, we will discuss about various aspects which are making the ecosystem functioning, or the various aspects on which the functioning of the ecosystem depends. Thank you.